What up, friends? Welcome to the Wednesday night edition of the Geoff Fienberg Show here on FTN Daily, presented by PrizePicks. We are, well, should be on the eve of the Ryder Cup. I wish we were on the eve of the Ryder Cup, but no, we've got two more sleeps until the Ryder Cup. I am super excited. I am still trying to mentally figure out how I'm going to handle the Ryder Cup and Chargers versus Patrick Mahomes game at the same time. Maybe the U.S. can do me a favor and play so great for the first couple days that, we can have maybe a less stress Sunday. Although I'm sure the last time the U.S. thought they had a less stress Sunday on home soil, it did not turn out that well. We had the Justin Rose put at Medina, Martin Keimer for the finish. I am super bullish on the USA this time around. I have never bet the USA before. I will be breaking it down with my buddy at Tour Picks, Joe Idone. It's been a couple of weeks since we have chatted. It is the Ryder Cup. Figured me and Joe, maybe I'm living my own truth and making this up, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot of people backing the USA this week. I understand that. They're big favorites. That's no surprise to me. I'll bring Joe on here in a couple minutes. I am tracking a Yankees game. I really hope they lose because the Blue Jays playoff position does depend on it. The Blue Jays, they've been caught up in some controversy, I guess, in the last day. That whole incident with the player card versus the Rays and Kiermaier. I'll give you my take on that. I'll be quite brief. Kiermaier should have picked it up. I guess you pick it up. You pick it up. You take it back. But when you're asked about it, don't play dumb. Like, just own it. Just be like, yeah, I don't know, someone dropped this freaking watch on the ground, and I picked it up. But don't say you didn't know what it was, because you knew exactly what it was. The video shows you going into the dugout with you hand something to the coach. You're both smirking like it's Christmas morning. You know you got something good. So don't say, I didn't know what it was. I'm totally shocked it was theirs. I thought it was mine. That fell out of my pocket. So that's it. And then the Jays asked for it back, and you said no. I guess that's in your right to say no. The Blue Jays are allowed to be angry about that. If there's anyone that does deserve the most blame, though, it's probably Blue Jays catcher Alejandro Kirk. And lots of Blue Jay fans want to give him a free pass in this incident. I mean, I guess if it's that important, if it's that hardcore proprietary information, you got to take better care of it. You got to always be conscious if you don't have it or that you have it. And the first moment you realize you don't have it, you just blow your lid and you stop everything. Like you just lost some insane diamond or something. Like that's what you've got to do. I don't know if someone is drilling outside my house north of 10 p.m. because I don't think my child is using appliances. I don't know. That was creepy. We're live. So that was live. But yeah, so I guess that's that. And hopefully the Jays are lucky enough to make the playoffs. And hopefully they're lucky enough to play the Rays in the playoffs. I'm super fired up. Blue Jays are in a pennant race. Okay? It's September. Blue Jays are in a pennant race battling with the Yankees and the Red Sox. That is amazing. The Chargers. It's week 3. Everything is still in front of them. Okay? We got to score touchdowns. Yards, 5th in the league in yards, 25th in the league in points. That's not going to cut it. Right? That's not going to cut it. The points got to match the yards. We'll get there. I'm not overly concerned. Are they going to beat the Chiefs? I'm not sure. But if they lose to the Chiefs, they'll bounce back next week on Monday Night Football versus the Raiders. I'm still waiting for a team to throw the fucking ball on the Raiders. Pardon my language. That's what I'm waiting for. I love the Miami Dolphins this week. I'll tell you just quickly before I bring in Joe, that's my super luck. I gave it on the Mayo show. I love really good teams. Good teams. They don't have to be really good. Really good teams, that's great. But I love good teams going to the backup quarterback for the first game. And you can make a case to it a Brissett. That's a whole other conversation. I'm not here to have that debate on that. But I believe the Dolphins are a good team. I do believe the Dolphins are a good team. Before the season started, I would have projected them to win 9 or 10 games. To me, that's a good team. Now they're a good team with a coach I believe is a good coach. It's the first game with a backup quarterback. Dolphins. Dolphins for the win. Outright, probably. +4. That would be, yeah, probably one of my favorite games of the week. Seattle would be up there as well. We'll get up there. A lot of time to talk Friday after, talk about the NFL. I'll be doing a show Friday afternoon. You know what I won't be talking about on Friday afternoon when I'm doing my show? The NFL, because we'll be live during afternoon matches. I'm super fired up to do that. But before we get to Friday afternoon, we've got to get through Wednesday night. And to help me do that, I got my boy here at Joe, at Tour Picks, my guy Joe. It's been a while since we have chatted it up. He, like I, am quite heavy on the Americans this week. You can call them paper tigers. You can say we're just staring at the papers. I don't care. I don't know what else I'm supposed to stare at. It's Wednesday. These guys are wearing Packer shirts and cheeseheads. They're good at internet videos. The European tour is always good at the internet. You don't get points for the internet. We're going to get points on the golf course, on this golf course. I don't think enough people are talking about the fans. Those are not nice people. Or maybe they're nice people to their wives and to their mothers and to their children. But American golf fans, I mean, they can be quite vile. And they have a reputation for being vile. And I fully anticipate they're going to be absolutely vile this week in Wisconsin. Let's not waste any more time. Let me get right into it with my guy at Tour Picks, Joe Idoni. What is up, my man? Looking good. I don't know if the setup looked as fresh last time we spoke there, brother.
I've added a few pieces here and there. I appreciate it. It looks like you've added some nice piecework behind you as well.
Yeah, good time. So, Joe, am I making it up? I don't want to say we're on an island on America. That's like a really stupid statement. There are a few people on it, but I don't know. The smart people who I really do like to trust seems like they're all just betting Europe. And is that because it's a 3-day event and they're not betting they're not laying juice on a 3-day event like they would on a 3-hour football game? Or do they actually think those guys are going to win?
Oh man, I think it's a little bit of both. I really do think that there's a belief in this whole like
162.
team camaraderie can outweigh talent type of argument, and of course it all comes back to the odds, right? People are much more comfortable betting on someone to at +175 than they are laying 2 to 1 over the course of 3 days, over the course of 5 rounds that they have to follow, over the course of a college football Saturday and an NFL Sunday. So we know this. I think all these factors combined, but it does definitely. I do get the sense that the backers of Team USA here, at least from a gambling side, we're kind of in the minority there, I think.
Yeah, and I get it. Like you kind of laid it on the line there. People don't like to win enough on a bet like this. You really have to put yourself out there. That's something people don't want to do. Maybe they would do that in March, in April, in May, in June, but not over an NFL Sunday and not something that crosses through a college Saturday. So that you're right. That's probably on the point, and that's why we're seeing a lot of my buddies, our buddies are. I guess we're all the same people now, Joe. We're having fun with the prop bets. We know the books. This event every 2 years, or I guess 2+ for this one. Well, the odds to win are set on maybe rosters and perception and course fit. The props, the books don't really have a handle on these, nor should they. They're just trying to service us. Some lines are better than others, but I do believe there are opportunities there. Who are you, in on in those markets? But more importantly, what I'm curious is, like, who are you frothing at the mouth to see get rostered Friday morning? I don't know about you, but by the time like lunch comes tomorrow, I'm going to know the prices at all the books that I have access to. So when those things come out, I'll be prepared to beat the books from removing or changing anything. I'll know exactly where I need to go to make my bet.
100%. So I'm going to like if you're betting individual player props, I think that it is wise at this point to hold off until tomorrow during those opening ceremonies when they announce the initial pairings. I think that the window is going to be maybe 90 seconds, depending on how good your book is, maybe 2 3 minutes where
Joe,
you're
I'm telling you, the places that me and you sometimes share pictures of, they're not going to move it. They're
okay.
not. There are okay. The American there are books that will not there that will be slow. There'll be smart ones that are just down quickly.
Yes.
If you have a few bucks, you'll be able to beat them. You'll be able
Yes.
to beat them.
Yes, I'm going to have a couple of bet slips ready to go. There's certainly guys that I'm targeting. Obviously, advantageous to have a guy who at least has the opportunity to play all 5 rounds, even though that certainly isn't guaranteed by them going off in the morning foursomes. But yeah, I mean, look, we kind of have a pretty good sense at this point as to who at least two of the pairings are going to be, I think, on both sides. And then from there, it's a little bit of a guessing game. I'm most excited to see if Bryson plays. I want him to play. I want to see him. I think that he may be on a course like Whistling Straits, as speaking from a Team USA perspective, our biggest asset. Like there's holes that he can physically do things to that no other guy can. The first hole, for example, there's a par five where I've heard rumblings that he could have like upwards of 140, 150 yards into. So he is at a significant advantage, particularly in something like four ball, where he can have a blow up, right? And it doesn't matter if you put him with someone solid and just let him go out there and make 8 9 birdies.
I am totally with you. I would love to see him go out Friday morning. I'd love to see him go out first. Now, I even understand that's crazy. And as someone that's bet USA and isn't just here for entertainment, like I would like them to have put some, and I'm certain they have, but like because I have such a large bet, I'm actually would really just need them to stick to some hardened strategy.
Yeah.
And the boomer bust concept of Bryson going out first, the team is so good, why bring a bust into play? Like, why allow Europe any momentum or any sort of meme or look at Bryson? Like, for how good it could go, it could also, like, maybe go the other way. And why even allow that opportunity for Europe when, say, Justin Thomas can just hit the monsoon drive also? But to piggyback off something I believe you tweeted about, and I feel like I said a couple times in the last day or so that I am on board with you. I would be more shocked if, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Justin and Jordan don't go full go together.
Yeah.
Like, I think those two guys can be very versatile and used differently. Well, obviously, Cantley and Shoffley would make perfect partners for anybody. Like, you just could put them with anybody. They're pretty, they're like Morikawa without majors.
They are a preeminent pairing, I think, Cantler.
Yeah. I just feel like I'd be shocked if they got broken up. I'm prepared to see Justin and Jordan not together as much as people assume.
And I kind of hope that's the case. Look, of all the guys on Team USA right now, barring, maybe some of the rookies in like English and Scheffler, there's a lot of question marks around Spieth for me in terms of the form that he carried into the FedEx Cup playoffs late in the season. Definitely lost it with the driver quite a bit. I don't think this is the best. While he did have a good, going back to 2015, I think he finished second here, but that was a long time ago, especially a long time ago for Jordan Spieth, right? I mean, he was the best player in the world at that time, and I just don't think. I think this course is set up better for much of the other players. I think that just pairing them together because they are friends would be a mistake in my mind, and not taking a more analytical approach, particularly in the foursomes. Like having Spieth on your team for alt shot, like I don't love that. And maybe they're such good friends they can overcome it. But like Tom talked about it to me last night, like he's neurotic. He's just a quirky character on the golf course, and to have to always have him put you in positions and try to get up and down and make these miraculous saves from everywhere is not the safest play for someone like Justin Thomas to take advantage of his strengths.
So I have literally been screaming this since Ryder Cup content began, and Bryson just became such a lightning rod of everything, what he can't do, where he shouldn't be. And I'm like, how can you tell me that Jordan Spieth is some great alternate shot player, but Bryson would be some horrible or neurotic one?
Right.
I mean, maybe they should be paired together if that's what they want to do. They'd both be used to playing from awkward spots. They're both capable of hitting that amazing putt to save the hole. In that respect, but yeah, for like, I don't understand why Spieth doesn't take any of that negative alt shot energy that Bryson takes. Bryson would hit it off the off the radar. He'd just be 180 yards closer to the pin.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
obviously not being serious in that respect. Do you think it's possible nobody goes 5 sessions on the Americans?
I mean, no, I don't feel like it's very likely. I feel like Cantlay and Schauffele are two guys that are just put him out there all the time. Like I feel like Cantlay is the guy with carrying the form that he is going to tell Stricker, put me up there on Sunday, play me every time, and I want Rory or I want Rom on Sunday. Like let's go out first. Like I feel like that's part of his character. And Xander is just so consistent. He's longer off the tee than he gets respect for. He's just a great I feel like player, and they proved that at the President's Cup. So they were so solid together there. I think he just rolls with them through Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, my early look props were all heavy on Xander, just because he was getting a couple more points than Cantley.
Yeah,
If the lines were
same.
reversed when I was making that bet, maybe they would have been on Cantley. I totally agree with you in that respect. One guy who I am most will be like pending a bet. I'll have a wager in it, ready to hit submit. If I see Friday morning he goes out, and that's Tony Finau, 25 to 1 top overall, and you could split that up. Take your top American side as well. I'm sure I'll have that up as well. If he goes out Friday morning, to me that indicates Stricker envisioned him on the team for literally 97% of the time he's been captain, except for that small little window where, even as Finau fans, we got worried, like, did he blow? Like, whatever, this might not actually happen. He wins. He's instantly put on the team. Stricker gets to go back to envisioning the team he always envisioned, probably. Your thoughts or probability of Finau getting out Friday morning?
I think there's a good chance. Look, it's for me. It's like he's either going to go with Bryson or Brooks. Like then he has to make. Then Stricker, I think, has to make that decision between
What about
who he roll.
neither?
What's that?
What about neither?
It could be neither, but then who do you have him with? Because I think DJ is going to go. I think DJ should go with Morikawa, and then obviously Justin Jordan, Cantlay Xander. So if you that would mean keeping both Brooks and Bryson both on the bench if you're going to play Finau and like Harris or someone. Or who did you see him with?
Yeah, sorry, you are right. I would go with for alt shot. I would go Finau Bryson.
Okay.
And then obviously I'd be cheering for them to win. At which point they would probably get rostered back together again, or is Stricker already decided he's going to run back Finau and Brooks because of they were one of the lone bright spots I want to say from Paris.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I think that he makes a little bit of a better fit with Brooks. I think that either of them I think are so solid. Like Brooks is a little bit I think less boom or bust, and maybe has a little bit more consistency. I think that he could bring to the table with experience and not getting himself crazy out of position, and the ability to just make pars when he's out. When he hits a bad shot.
Yeah.
Bryson he can make a lot more birdies. He's going to bring eagle into play, but he also has those blowups. It could go either way. I think Stricker initially envisioned probably having him with Brooks. I think that he carries a ton of respect for Brooks, going all the way back to when Brooks won at Erin Hills, which was like his sort of victory lap, and that was Brooks' first major. And I think they've had a little bit more of a connection, and I think they're close. So it's just a matter of whether the health issue with Brooks, I don't think it has going to have anything to do with the comments that he made about not wanting to be on, play team golf. It's just what his plan is, and it seems from hearing the early player talk in some of the interviews that it's a very concise plan, and he seems to be very calculated about his approach and know exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, and listen, everyone has to motivate themselves differently, and we all know Brooks loves to almost like say like I don't like something or this isn't good for me, only to then go do it and do it amazing. So then we put more weight into like this feat that we always just assumed he could do anyway.
Yeah.
Like from winning a major to just having to play alt shot. But as I said on a few things, I think he's a superstar, and sometimes you want to put your superstars in the best position, and if that means just creating, doing little things for them. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Okay, so I've made a lot of like jeez. If the U.S. go down this week, people don't have to come chirp me. I'll be sad. Mahomes probably just trained the Chargers. They're gonna lose a lot of money on the Ryder Cup. Just know I lost money. Just know I'm Chargers sad. You don't have to come at me on the internet. Okay, let's just that we know. Okay, that's just out of the way. But I've made my comments or jokes like Stricker's got 3 mulligans because they got 3 Lee Westwoods. But to my point about that, Joe, to expand on it is Victor Hovland. I love him. Going to lose so much money on the guy. He's got to be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, what's their road if he is not amazing? On the other side, you have Colin Morikawa. I hope he plays well. I think he's going to play well. I think he's going to be fine. I think it was more fatigue than injury, and just my outside opinion. Major Olympics,
Yeah.
long season, things happen. A lot of times been off refresh. He can do nothing. The team's fine. Like they're not dependent on him.
Right.
And we all, I mean, like at least the betting man will tell you Morikaw's they're pretty equal, like maybe overall skills, but whatever. I'm not debating that. Let's just even say they're equal. One needs to be amazing, the other can do nothing.
Yeah.
Like that, it just in a nutshell is this event.
100%. The pressure of the team aspect and performing on your team is much more on Vic's shoulders than it is on Morikawa's. Now Vic seems totally at ease. EPAT posted the picture with the double girls. He's
Yeah,
I don't feel
whose
like
girls were those?
I don't know, but I don't feel like the pressure is going to get to him too much. These two guys, like, there's guys like Scheffler, for instance, which are just different. And I'm not talking about the caliber of player. I'm talking about he made this run over the last 6 weeks to kind of get into this event. Morikawa and Vic have known they're on these Ryder Cup rosters for 2 years. Like they've known that this is going to be their Ryder Cup, and they're going to be here for the next 10 of these things. These are the two guys that are going to carry these teams sort of into the future, and they're going to lean on. You mentioned it. I think that Vic, from my indications, I think he's going to play with Rory, which will help him quite a bit because Rory can shoulder a lot of that with not only his experience, but just the caliber of player that he is. So it's not like he's going to have to carry over his shoulders a Lee Westwood or an Ian Poulter or a Matt Fitzpatrick. I don't think that they're going to put him in that position. But yeah, there's certainly a ton more pressure to perform and go out and get himself 3.5 points if this team is going to have a chance to win.
Yeah. I mean, they're just so deep. They're going to play a lot of golf. Rory's got a great reputation for taking on rookies and having great Ryder Cups with a rookie, so I guess that does make sense. It's a top heavy pairing as Europe's concerned. It's their second and third best player, and they don't have much other choice. I mean, we fully expect. How many Europeans won't even see 3 sessions? To put you on the spot.
Won't even see 3 sessions. Well, I think that they're going to play. Let's see, 3.
I mean, how many are going to play 5 then? We'll make that easy because Rory, Rahm, Victor, and when we talk to Tom, and I love Tom, so I'll buy into it. Like Casey's good, seems like 4.5, but
Casey
probably
seems
4.
good. I think that it just depends on. I think a lot of it's going to depend on their feedback in terms of Casey and Sergio. I think that for them to have the best chance of success, those two guys should play all five. Now, Patty seems to be a little bit stubborn in some of his mentality in terms of these pairings and what he's doing, so he has a plan as well. And I don't know that that's necessarily the case to run them out there. He doesn't want to run them into the ground. But you have your three elite drivers in Vic, Rory, Rom, and then you have Sergio and Paul Casey who can drive it as good as anybody. And then there's a precipitous drop off for the rest of the European teams in terms of their games off the tee. And I think that's the way this course is set up strategically by Team USA is to reward off the tee game because that's the strength of their team.
That you're 100% right, and I mean even to that, I think you kind of were alluding to it, and not wanting to take shots at Spieth, but saying his presence or his amount of games feels a bit overrated at this point because if I'm the Europeans, it's almost like okay, like Spieth feel like you feel like you have a chance, like we're gonna be off the tee, like that's a good matchup for us.
Right.
Like we're not at a distance advantage, and there aren't many places you get that with the Americans. I would say Spieth and Morikawa and Berger, like the only three guys that don't absolutely crush it.
Right. But Morikawa is
Yeah,
so like
he's
he's
his
going to
own
get you in
category. Yeah,
such better positions than
yeah,
Spieth.
yeah.
But you are right. I think in terms of just a striking fear in the opponent, if you throw, say, Finau and Brooks at them, they're, I think, a lot more afraid of the Finau Brooks team than they are the Jordan and Justin team
Yeah,
in
I'm not.
terms of the way this place is set
Yeah.
up.
Don't get me wrong. Jordan can do his magic. We know what he's capable of around the greens. But they'll four guys will be walking off the tee, and that Brooks and Finau group will be like, oh, like we're like off the tee. They'll be like, we got to figure something out here,
Hmm.
um, to make that happen. So I don't know. I'm super excited, Joe. I've said it a few times. There's few things I get as excited about. This goes right up there with majors for me. And like a lot of us who are, so deep into the golf space now, we all love golf. We've all grown to love golf. But I don't know how many of us, and if I'm wrong, tell me, like that golf was their favorite sport when they were 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like your development, like formative years.
Yeah.
So we just like most of us come from this world, like we love our favorite football teams. We love our favorite baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever it is. And this is like that one golf event where it's like an all-star game, but it's like caring and team.
Yeah.
It's you sit there and you're like, it just hits you for a few moments how boring 72 hole stroke play is, and like, why do I love that so much? This is
I know.
amazing.
Look, and I had dog pound tickets growing up. I love sort of the ruckus environment of people just shouting and just chaos going all around. I grew up loving that with sports. It feels like kind of like a wrestling crowd on the first tee showing up at freaking SummerSlam here, the way that these people are going to be screaming. And we don't get that much. And I talked to Tom about it too. The fan experience is something that I think a lot of people took for granted over the last year and not having fans in NFL games. And you see it with these early sort of tailgates, and people are so excited to just be back together and in the stands and cheering on their favorite team. I think a ton of that energy and vibe carries over to Wisconsin this week, and people are just going, they're going to pack them in there. It's going to be loud. It's going to give Team USA a little shot of adrenaline that they haven't felt in 5 years now in terms of having a home game as a team in golf, because they had the away President's Cup. They were in Paris. This is what they need. And if they can't get up for this, then there's not much hope for them.
And if they lose this, like just go to Corn Ferry. Like I don't care what they do. Like just draw random names out of a hat if you're like a top 40 qualifier. If they can't win on this golf course. Yeah, people have been caged. The crowd is going to be animals. I'm sure the Europeans are going to complain. They complained at Hazeltine. It got out of hand. I'm not here for, you want it to be insane, but you want it to like kind
Yes.
of, stay on hand. And I was chatting with my boy Hustler doing a little Chiefs Chargers preview. He's headed to Wisconsin this weekend. He's been to Super Bowls. He's been to Game 7 of World Series. He's sort of been to so many things. And he says Hazeltine was like the greatest sporting event he's ever been to that he had to go back this time around. So I can't wait to go to one. I can't wait to go to one and then maybe make it my own and thing. And then obviously one day, I mean, you got to go overseas to one probably too, right? To really feel it at some point. I've like
Yes.
got this big bucket list that's still on zero as it pertains to Ryder Cup. So we'll have to start somewhere. But the crowd and being Venom, Joe, if Ty Hatton brings that like form we saw for the last month, 6 weeks to Wisconsin, that form and that crowd, I'm waiting for it.
They're going to be
I
all
hope
over
and I'm waiting for it.
Westwood, like Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood. These are guys who.
Well, I'm just talking about Hatton like freaking out, like
Oh yeah,
like at
okay.
a rowdy, drunken, sorry, just an American crowd that's like just way out of their element, raucous, and takes it crosses a line. And Hatton's just bad form Hatton, like he might launch a club at them.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Hopefully, he can maintain a little composure this week, which isn't exactly his strength. But even Rom at the top is been known to, he's kind of honed it in a little bit. But I can see this kind of getting to him.
Yeah, he's honed
'Cause
it in, and I've given him so much credit, like
yes,
for being where he was, being how young he was, saying publicly, I have this thing that's holding me back. I've got to rein it in. He's done so good at it. Now winning and always playing well helps, but
it's in there.
if they could get it out of him, I would have to take some heat from some of our friends on the internet because I've like gone to the wall about this like maturity change and like Rom is more teddy bear than people want to give him credit for. He just had a baby girl.
Yeah.
He's a teddy bear. He just went to Napa because his wife made him. Okay.
Right.
Like, come on, he's still following rules from. I'm not. We all would. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, Hatton's the true tweaker. But if they can get Rom to vintage Rom, please, people going, please do it.
Yeah. No, if he shows one little reaction, they're gonna go nuts on him all weekend, and I don't think it's gonna happen. But like we said, we know it's in there. I think that he's got a lot of pressure on him this week to be their top player that he didn't have that first time around. He got the potential snub in player of the year, so maybe he's a little upset about that. I don't know. We'll see, but I know that the fans here are going to do their best to get under the skin of the European Tour team. I hope that they do it respectfully, but I want to see it at the same time.
So before I get you out here, what is like your biggest question? What are you most looking forward to finding out? I guess other than Bryson, that's almost like it's become its own monster in like his tactic and his utilization. What are you most intrigued about, or what is something like a hot feeling you have that's kind of just not being discussed anywhere? Like Scotty Scheffler just being the super cannon or something.
Yeah, I mean, look, I kind of put out a semi-joking tweet about potentially putting Brooks and Bryson together in one of the four balls teams. I think this could be real. I honestly think, Jeff, this could really happen. I think that that's the perfect environment for them where they both play their own ball, right? They're next to each other. They're going to make a shitload of birdies. They're not going to lose. Whatever matchup they're in, they're not going to lose. They're going to have all eyeballs. And I think Brooks is like so much more calculated than people give him respect for. And I think that he feels part of him, I think, feels a little bit bad for this thing is kind of flipped, and now he's getting a little bit of heat for the fans' reaction to Bryson. So the fans have kind of flipped to now, giving him a little bit of sympathy. I think that he's catching a ton of heat from this Golf Digest piece. I think that the ultimate way to get back in everyone's good graces is to tell Stricker, put me with Bryson, and I want this shit leaked to the media that it was me that said to put us together because I want, you know what I'm saying? So
I am, oh my God, I am exploding with excitement. You talking through it. Like, listen, we've bet this thing, Joe. So now it's like gone to the point where we just need to believe anything that makes us feel better about these big bets that we have made on it. But I do agree with something you said there. I think Brooks, I mean, like Bryson, socially unaware, sometimes gets involved in things he doesn't really know how deep it's going to go. Brooks, hyper aware. When he says only 30 guys have a chance, he freaking knows what he's saying. Like,
Yes.
he just knows. When he says, I don't practice, he knows, like, what that's going to do to media, what that's going to do to other players, what that's going to do to tweakers like me. He, like, knows. He knows. And I think he's like he watched he didn't play great in the FedEx Cup. He got out of his shower on Sunday and like just saw Bryson like melting down. He's like, okay, like I'll let this guy tap out now. Like I'll tap him out.
Right.
Like it's gone too far. He has been. I wanted him to feel some sort of pain for fucking with me, and he felt it. So I'll throw him that lifesaver into the water. I wish you're so right. I hope you're so right, Joe.
Me too, man. That's what I want to see most from this thing. Obviously, I've got a ton at stake, like you. I've got some heavy wagers on the USA to win this thing. But of anything that I want to see, the media, like the ratings, would go bananas through the roof on people to just see them play together. Everyone would follow them on the course, and I don't know that they want that circus, but it is a circus, right? That's this atmosphere, and like just
Bring
to
it,
see
yeah.
them make a birdie and like fist bump on the green, the place would go nuts.
Oh, I, we can dream. We can
Right.
dream. I love Patrick Reed. I've lost Patrick Reed. I don't know if Patrick Reed will ever be able to get himself back. Like, especially if Jordan and Justin take this thing by the balls.
Yeah.
Like, and it sort of becomes their team in some respects. We all know how good Cantley and Brooks, but like, just full, like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Xander too with his gold medal, like he's like the 2.5 of it. Patrick never gets back on if he doesn't auto qualify. As long as like if this thing goes to plan and Justin and Jordan are sort of now the two guys who are vice captains while they're still playing, like roster influencers, because they are.
Right. And they're going to win. I think we both know they're going to win. So it's going to, they're going to have their arms around each other. They're going to be drinking the champagne, and it's going to have this image, lasting image here of how Team USA came together. You know what I mean? Without Patrick Reed. So he's going to unfairly get some of that and say that this team was able to sort of reach a camaraderie aspect that wouldn't have been possible without Reed, which we know isn't true, but he's just going to get the brunt of that, unfortunately, by not being here. So you're right. I think if he doesn't auto qualify or play really well, it's going to be tough for him to be a captain's choice moving forward.
Getting you out on this, just like when you bet a football game, Joe, and it's like, oh, I really hope they don't go for it. Like, you always, as a coach of the other team, you're always like, I always want my football team to do what the guy who bet the other team doesn't want them to do. Like, shit, I wish they went for a punt, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Brought in that reliever, this reliever. What are we hoping Europe like doesn't do? What will make us big gulp? Or they just once they hit that 40-footer on the first hole and we miss our 8.5 for the tie for the half, like we're just gonna big gulp and be like, oh shit, it's all happening. But what roster is there anything outside of those main sort of three that you just don't want to see them or don't want to see get hot? Like who are we afraid of? Like who could really fuck us? We
I
know
think you
Rom
hit
can, we know Victor can, we know Rory can, but it will take more than those three versus that roster.
Absolutely. It totally will. I think that I think Matt Fitzpatrick is a little bit of a dark horse, and I think he's going to go out with Rom quite a bit. But it's going to come down like what I'm going to be watching from their perspective is Rom and Rory. If they can get points and they can become leaders and they can make this team believe and rally around them because they're getting points, now Sergio and Ian Poulter can go out and scratch out a half a point because these guys, these European teams, never give in. These matches are never over until they're completely over. They will always claw their way back into them. I think this is closer than the betting number would appear. I think there's other ways to bet it in terms of a close, relatively, I like the USA to, win by 1-6. I don't think this ends in a blowout in many scenarios that I play out, But those two catalysts at the top, Rom and Rory, are who I'm going to be most locked into. And if they're getting points, I'm concerned.
Yeah, I guess that's the truth, right? Because if you can hold them at bay, then it's the back end that has to get the points.
Right.
Even if you can get halves out of Rom, right? You're
Hmm.
like, even if JT's, you burn a great pairing to get a half out of Rom, well, you've got the better pairing in two and a half of the other
Yes.
ones.
Yes.
So, yeah, you're absolutely right. So I guess on that closing, Mayo told me Stricker should not worry about where Rom is. You're too good. Just roster your roster, send out your lineup. Don't even think about matching with Rom. I'm like, I don't know. If I'm Stricker, I like part of my strategy would be like trying to guess where he wants to slot Rom. And then
Yeah.
I would try to give Rom the hardest matchup possible. Mayo goes, every match is hard. Like every
Yeah.
match Europe gets would be hard. So don't overthink it. Like even Scotty Scheffler beat Rom at a WGC. I'm not comparing them. I had
Hmm.
money on Rom that week. I'm not comparing them, but anyone can sort of take him if it goes down that way. So
For
do you
me,
strategize for him or do you just roster your roster?
I strategize for him and I put him up against. I take him head on with Xander and Cantlay as much as I can, and I think that Patrick Cantlay wants Rom. I think that he's such a dog, like the
Yeah, he
way that
is a
he thinks
dog.
and his mentality. He thinks that he's that level of player, even though he's not. In his mind, he is,
That's
and
all that
he's like
matters.
and he's the Rom Slayer, and like I think that he wants that sort of moniker in whoever they slot him with because it's not going to be Vic. It's not going to be Sergio, and I thought that they would do the Spanish team, but I don't think it's either of those two guys. So Rom's going to have to carry on his shoulders Westwood or Fitzpatrick or Lowry or someone like this. And Xander's just so much better than that secondary guy that I think the Team USA can get a point and a half out of those in both sessions.
All right, Joe. This was fun. We're cheerleading this thing. I am appointing myself an honorary American this weekend. I am all in. I am all in. Uh, I remember last time I was in Arizona when they lost in the Paris Ryder Cup. I went to Golf Galaxy the next day. Got so much great Ryder Cup swag on sale too. People wanted no part of that Paris USA stuff. I ate it up though.
Yeah,
Um,
it's turned
Hey,
into one of those.
shit. I want to get out of here, but you're an apparel guy. These guys are rocking $900 shirts. Like that's a serious fail. Like
I
for
hate
this
them.
great team camaraderie thing, $900 like
Yep. The quarter zips are like 13. The quarter zips are over a grand that they're wearing. And
what
they're,
like what sort of bougie? You're the
oh,
team of the people. You couldn't be more bougie.
yeah.
Like
There's
what
only
is that?
164 people in the world who can afford that quarter zip.
Yeah. Great. So you wore Packers colors today. It's $900. You really admire. They really admire your shirt.
They're trying to get in the good graces. I don't think it's going to work. We're smarter than that. We're set up to win. Uh, it's going to happen, man. This is the year. It's got to. It's got to.
All right, Joe. Hopefully we are excited about it. And I don't even know what Sunday night football is, but sometimes if I win too much money, I could press. Eh, if hopefully I'm lucky enough to. Good luck. Good luck to your brownies this week. They got a 1 o'clocker.
1 o'clocker, Chicago Bears, Justin
Oh yeah,
Fields
Justin.
debut. I'm a
Jeez,
little
yeah,
worried
that's
about that. Look, we don't handle a mobile quarterback well ever. Our defensive coordinator, Lamar, just absolutely tears us up. Tyrod Taylor tore us up. I'm concerned, but I don't think I'm going to bet the Browns this week. I'd be
That's
taking
the
the Bears.
actually okay. So that game, I love the NFL so much. I'll need to keep an eye on that. Strictly, I'd like to see how Fields is doing throughout that game. That's important for me to see. Uh awesome. Well, good luck with that. Hopefully, we both cash it. Hopefully, we hit those 1 to 6 props as well. And yeah, however it goes down, my man. All the best to you. We'll be in touch.
Thank you much for having me on. Best of luck. USA, baby.
Yeah, USA A-OK. That was my boy at Joe at Tour Picks Joe Idoni. Getting it done here, joining me again. I appreciate that, and that's it for me. I'm Geoff Fienberg. You could see me on Friday. We are going to watch this thing along. You'll see a tweaker in me if Friday morning didn't go well. And we're in a Friday afternoon and I'm already feeling desperate. That's possible. We'll see. I can't wait to watch along with you guys. That'll be Friday afternoon. Tino, what time am I doing Fridays again? 3 o'clock. Yeah, we used to do two. This will be three. Don't worry, it won't be much longer. I'm Geoff Fienberg. I'll see you Friday. Ryder Cup Live. Watch along with me. I'm out.